Hello, and welcome to Rolling Escapades Season 2, Episode 1 of the Tale of the Errant Guard. Woo! It's finally here. We've only been talking about it for like a year and a half.
I would say longer than that.
2 years.
Since you first proposed, I think it's been about 4 years.
It's been
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Take 3 years.
We'll get through this quick campaign, Storm Kings, it won't take long, and we'll go on to the next one.
19 and a half months later.
Yeah. But welcome to the series in which 9 dudes get together, play Dungeons and Dragons, have fun, and put it on the internet.
Woo!
It really is. As mentioned, we've done other stuff. So if you've not seen us before and have somehow just found us, do go and check out Season 1 of Rolling Escapades. Go check out Doom to Dice. Check out the Dark Heresy campaign. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the YouTube channel for you to look at, watch, and enjoy. If you've been paying attention for some time, welcome back! Woo! Some people pay attention to us.
The excitement is palpable.
Yeah.
It's just you that I'm judging.
No, that's fair.
They are
I
probably
feel-
sane. You were
I
definitely
do get a
not.
feeling for that we should have had little flags each, and we've all just gone. Woo.
And there was much rejoicing.
Someone do that.
Edit some
That
red here or
required
something.
a bit too much pre-planning.
what is this
What you were the
preparation
one
and
who was
planning you talk about?
But yeah, so
Do we have the budget for a single party popper?
No.
Maybe.
maybe we
How
might
much
go
does
to.
semen go for nowadays?
There we go. You get a good insight into what you're
You're not
getting
a ball.
into.
You could put semen in party poppers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Have I got the wrong end of the stick?
Is that why they say don't point them at your face?
But surely you do point them at someone's face. Or am I doing it wrong?
Anywho, hopefully at this point you've gone and watched the character intro sessions and the introduction to the party as a whole. If you haven't, stop watching this, go watch those, come back.
This will make a lot more sense.
It will make a lot more sense, and there's a decent chunk of information there available for you to find, and it gives you an insight into each of the characters and what they are like. If you've already gone and seen them, you are awesome, and have been paying lots of attention. So woo, stay with us. I do just have to say, for those, apologies for Mission 3 and Shades session having only one camera, because that was the time our recorder decided to go kaput, and it corrupted all the data.
It corrupted the entire disk, and I had to format the whole thing. And it
Yeah.
took me a while because Windows wouldn't read the disk at all.
Yeah. So,
It went really wrong.
yeah. Fortunately, it was only those two things
Yeah.
on it at that point. But it just went nah at us.
Please give that.
And timestamp. So yeah, so
Minute 5.
as is standard for FURN at this point, we started a new thing and immediately had tech issues.
Yeah.
Come back to haunt us.
Yeah, onto form, but
Yeah.
hopefully
That can be the last of it.
that should be it. Yeah.
It won't be.
No, it won't, but you know, we'll hope.
I'm doing that, but the microphone's there. It won't be.
Announcements, as always, our sponsor is Destai, awesome maker of chainmail goodies such as key rings and dice bags and rings and necklaces and all sorts of things, and macrame, which is thread essentially, thread tight.
Paracord.
There you go, paracord. It makes some pretty stuff out of paracord rather than chainmail. It's all awesome. It's all good. There is links in the description below to go check out the website and look at the stuff that is sold. You will also find in the description a link to the artist for this campaign, Christopher Rolls. He has done some fantastic character art for us, which you will see examples of momentarily. Just bear with. But it will be there through the wonders of editing.
Movie magic!
Oh, you're replacing like us in the chairs with our artwork.
Something like that.
Oh, we'll do a thing.
Whatever I do on Monday.
But yeah, so it's really cool. So you can find a link to where you can commission him to do artwork for you. You also find a link to his DM's Guild stuff, where he's got things such as Izzy's slightly used airships, where you can get information on variations of airships. You don't just have the airship in the DMG and the player's handbook. There are actual proper airship rules with differing airships with different races and stuff like that. And Izzy is the vendor who sells them, which is pretty cool. So yeah, go check that out. Then you'll also see in the description there is a link to Patreon, because we now have a Patreon set up earlier this week, went live. You can go on and support us if you decide for some reason that you want to.
If you would like to feed our dice addiction, please go here.
Hey.
Hey, look,
You've got.
I don't have many dice in front of me
6.
at the moment.
You have got 12 new sets of dice at least.
Do you know who else you didn't point at there?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to buy any more dice. 4 sets for next week.
Shh, I don't know. Shh.
Basically, all of us.
Yeah, sort of a table thing.
Yeah. I still only
Halo
got
above
6
me, right?
sets of dice.
But yes, so go to support us on Patreon. There are 2 tiers. There's a $1 tier, which will give you access to a Discord channel that we're all in, and you can come talk to us. It's pretty cool. And you get a role, and it's all snazzy and automated, which was actually surprisingly easy to set up.
So you can pay for the right to pester us.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Tell us how bad we are.
Yeah, and then there's another tier for $5 a month, which will give you early access to all the videos. As in, you will get them 3 or 4 days after they're filmed, as opposed to a week and a day after they're filmed. So, yeah, good things. And you also get Discord access. That's for both of them. So whichever one you do, you can come pester us if you want that privilege. You get a nice role and everything. My laptop just locked itself, which is useful. We have other social media stuff as well. We've got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can go find us, FURN Gaming, there. We've got a Twitch, twitch.tv/FURN Gaming. And we do a monthly podcast called the FURNcast, which you can find us at furngaming.podbean.com or by searching on iTunes. Announcements done.
That's everything.
One quick question.
Yo.
Since you're now using a laptop behind there, does that mean you're going to be using a virtual dice roller?
No.
I feel our chances are going to greatly improve if that's the case.
Yes.
More than greatly improve. I will never pass a save, and I will never hit an attack roll. And dice rollers hate me.
Yes.
They absolutely hate me.
It's because pseudo-random numbers aren't random numbers, and that's the only thing you actually control.
What randomness?
Yeah. He just channels randomness. That's why he's always rolls so well. He just controls the random outcome.
That explains a lot.
So the more balanced the dice is, the more likely he is to roll high.
Yeah.
So really, we should just give them a misshapen rock.
Do you want this one?
Right, that's anyone else have anything they want to add to any of the announcements? Say something before we start. Is everyone all happy? Good.
We can finally play.
Yes.
They mentioned that we won't always everyone be here right at the start.
Oh well, yeah. I would just mention that as and when it happens.
He might be late.
Yeah.
Is there anything new there?
Well, this is not a legitimate
we will stop
reason, that's
recording.
Yeah. Evan may occasionally turn up after we've started recording, but again, through the magic of editing, he won't be there, and then he will be there.
I better have a snazzy animation or something like relative descent from the sky.
and then disappears and you're just there.
Right, so I'll spend Monday morning in After
Yeah,
Effects.
can we guarantee the first Patreon thing will go straight towards the smoke machine? Just so we can have it go up
Just
as
for Evan.
Just for Eva.
Just for
Yeah.
Evan.
I think it'd be easier just
Oh,
to grab a bush
cool.
from outside and put it in his chair, then until he gets there and just remove the bush and get really veggie to spin it.
What we really need to
I'll
do.
just get a
Because
mannequin.
he's a monster hunter.
I was going to say we get a mannequin with the spy from TF2 and just put that there instead. Until it
That'll work.
appears.
It's just a different face each week.
Anyway, welcome to the world of Cynthian. A relatively young world, created by the gods from the elemental chaos that came before, but already with its own history, having survived through the 2 cataclysms that have already split the world. Our focus for this tale is the continent of Vervanor and the actions of the Errant Guard. Vervanor has always been the kingdom of the elves. Gifted to them by the gods when the world was created, it was here that the vast majority lived, isolating themselves from the rest of Cynthia. Following the events of the two cataclysms, Vervanor found itself separated from the rest of the world, and the elves enjoyed the peace they had, making sure memories of the other world were forgotten. Before long, humans rediscovered Vervanor, and the elves befriended them, as much as you can befriend a creature that you consider a pet. For around 100 years, the elves taught and entertained the humans, finding their short lives and strange appearance almost comedic. Eventually, other races arrived, specifically the dwarves and the halflings. With their extended lifetimes and general surliness, the dwarves annoyed the elves, and the elves found the size and happiness of the halflings combined with their love of music and laughter irksome. They convinced the humans that the other races were too much for Vervanor and the resources available, and would result in its destruction, and thus the war between the four races began. A heavy toll was placed onto each of the four races, until the humans, deciding that it was the war itself that would destroy Vervanor, rather than the existence of other races, orchestrated a peace. The elves took offence at the orchestrated peace, but knowing they lacked the numbers and resources from the heavy fighting they had already done, they couldn't fight the combined armies of the humans, dwarves, and halflings. And so they hid away, hiding their presence from the rest of Vervanor. Some elves opted to ignore the decision of the majority of their race, and didn't hide away, choosing to merge and make peace with the other three races. In doing so, they were shunned and cast out by the other elves. After the ending of the war, a tense peace existed, but ill feelings towards each other's races were still there. The races decided they needed to try and reduce the tensions and built the city of Jofriem, the city of peace. A council was formed of the various organizations, and different standings in society to create as fair and just a city as possible. The council also decided that they needed a group they could call upon to act as their arm and their eyes and their ears to solve problems and deal with threats to the city. And thus the Errant Guard was created. The Errant Guard completed various tasks for the council, but were for the most part allowed to do as they wished. Initially, upon creation and a full acquisition of all its members, a pact was signed between the council and the Errant Guard that made it impossible for the members of the Errant Guard to mention their employment by and involvement with the Council of Jofriem, on pain of death. However, after some consideration, the council made a change to this pact. Instead, the Errant Guard would have a front face towards the other citizens of Vervanor and Jofriem as an adventuring party, occasionally hired out by the council to go to other settlements to solve problems. The council would then have the ability to hire other adventuring parties for the same purpose. But the Errant Guard was specifically situated to be used for delicate matters. Which brings us to the present day. It is Fire Day the 16th of Praetor in the year of, when it loads, I think 1278. that year might be
When
wrong.
it loads, it's a funny number.
Yeah, funny way of doing long years.
Yeah, that will be because I was dumb and didn't write it down in that bit. but bear with. As I
Can
can.
you repeat that, sorry?
Friday,
what-
16th of
Friday.
April.
Fire Day,
Happy Fire Day,
16th.
Literally
everyone.
just Fire Day.
Fire Day, the 16th of Praetor. Praetor being P-A-T,
Well, hold on.
P-R-A-T, sorry.
Prat.
Yeah, it's Pratt O-H-R. Praetor,
15th, 16th.
16th. Fire Day, the 16th. And when I get the calendar out, I can tell you. There we go. What?
It almost looks like someone misspelled Friday.
It's not. The other days of the month you have moon day, days of the week rather. It's Moon Day, Star Day, Earth Day, Fest Day, Sunday, Fire Day, Water Day, Air Day, Free Day, and God's Day.
No, absolutely
There's a
not.
lot of them.
10-day week.
Yeah, 10-day week, 3-week month. So, Fire Day, the 16th of Praetor, in the year 978, post rupture.
978.
978, post rupture. It should be post cataclysm now, but you, the Errant Guard, have been dispatched by the council to the town of Grassbury. Specifically, you are there to find an elf by the name of Ayen Norlee.
What was that last name?
Norlee.
What was the town?
Grassbury.
What was the elf's name?
Ayen Norlee.
Iron.
Ayen. A-Y-E-N. Ayen.
I'll be honest, I'm just writing it as it sounds
That's,
to me.
yeah, do
Because
it.
then I know
Yeah.
what it's going to be pronounced
Yep.
as.
That's fine.
As long as you don't have a spelling test at the end of this, it's
Yeah,
fine.
that's cool. Write it however you want to write it, so you remember how to say it. That's the important
So it's
part.
Iron Northbury.
Yeah, Ayen Norlee.
Norley, how's Norley? Okay.
Ayen has sent a message to the council requesting to meet them, claiming he is an elf who has left the confines of the elves that initially disappeared, and he has knowledge on the whereabouts and location of the elves that vanished. The council has arranged for you to travel to Grassbury, find this elf, and escort him back to Jofriem. Grassbury is a small mining and farming town, slightly to the west of Jofriem. Ayen has warned that he has a date that he's expected to arrive, but he may be slightly early or he may be slightly late. You are to go and attempt to find him in the town, which should be a relatively easy task because the town is entirely populated by dwarfs and humans, apart from one halfling family. Whilst there, you are also to do what you can to assist the local folk and to make a name of yourself within Grassbury. The council has heard rumours that certain members and citizens within Grassbury have required aid of adventurers. That is your open reason for travelling to Grassbury. At this point, you guys have already left Jofriem, and you have travelled most of the distance to Grassbury. It's not very far. It's taken you about 5 days so far, and you should arrive early afternoon on the next day. So you are settling down the end of the day to rest and continue your journey in the morning.
Would we have used any spells or anything?
Nope, you've had an uneventful journey thus far.
Okay.
Now, what I am going to ask each of you to do is quickly describe your character. And whilst they're talking, you'll see artwork because it's amazing like that.
Yeah, I've got to remember this. Yeah.
So,
Timestamp.
yeah,
Read a timestamp for me.
one, 22.
So, who wants to start?
I mean, I know mine.
Go!
Dwarf, blonde hair, kind of like this, but shorter in the artwork. Nice, big, well-maintained beard, proper armour on. And what you don't see in the artwork is he's also got a tower shield that's about the same height as him. Also quite finely crafted with a crest on it that is alien to the people of this land.
Yeah. Cool. We'll
With
go,
the odd, like, braid in the hair somewhere.
we'll go that way now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also a dwarf. Kind of medium length to long black hair, black beard, neither of which are very well maintained at all. Wears like the hides of animals and things he's killed. Has a giant great axe and is very, very scarred everywhere.
I'm a halfling. I'm less than 3 foot tall. I have black hair, pale skin, green eyes. I wear I wear leather armor, but I wear a sort of fairly nice jacket over the top of it, and I have a beret in the
Yeah.
beret. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a crossbow on my back, and I've got a backpack full of my tea paraphernalia, and I carry a satchel as well with my books in.
And 14.
All my tea, so much tea.
Cool. I'm playing a wood elf. It's reddish brown eyes, about 5'10" in height, brown hair. Mainly just wearing regular clothing, you know, kind of brownish but darkish as well. What you don't see in the actual artwork though is that he is wearing a hood up and a mask covering most of his face.
Yes.
I have a high elf with black hair, stormy grey eyes, and generally has a generally stormy disposition. That's it. I've learned to use a herbalism kit.
I'm a human male, quite tall, long hair, rather unkempt. I carry around a staff. Yeah, there's really nothing too distinguishing. Clothes are rather unimpressive, but whatever keeps me warm as I travel.
I'm going to be playing a 6'1" blonde human paladin who's wearing scale mail and has green eyes, blonde hair, sort of down to here. Very well kept and well presented at every opportunity.
I'm playing a human as well, 5'11", dark olive brown skin, medium length hair, black curly, goes down just over his ears but doesn't quite reach his shoulders. Always has a bit of a hint of a smile as if he's never taking anything quite as seriously as he should. Wears leather armour with a belt going straight across it, with daggers sticking all out the place, easily reachable. There's also a little gold coin hung around the string of his neck, with a little symbol of the goddess Fortune on it.
There we go. We've met the characters and had an excuse to throw the artwork up on the video because it's so good.
I did forget to mention my height. I'm actually quite tall for a dwarf.
You're
4'7".
tall.
Tall? 5'7".
4'7".
Okay.
Yeah. Tall for a dwarf.
Are you sure you're a 5'7"?
Would be like, are you sure you're a dwarf?
Just a bit tall for a dwarf. Just a casual 5'7".
I'm 7'3" dwarf.
Okay. Cool. So, you're setting up to sleep for the night.
Do we have any horses or wagons or anything with us?
Let's say you probably did.
Cool.
You probably have a horse. I would say you probably have a wagon and with 2 horses, which like 6 of you could probably get on,
Yeah.
and then 2 horses for everyone else, for whoever's there. Potentially a spare horse for Ayen, depending on you don't know how he's travelling. Setting up for the night. The region, the area is prone and full of random unpleasant trees. You know, there are orcs, there are goblins and hobgoblins and all the usual things you would encounter on the road. There's also, as the war didn't end all that long ago, there were still a fair few bandits and stuff who attempt to make raids on anyone who might be camping out and about. So my assumption is going to be you guys are going to do watches.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, you have an 8-hour long rest in front of you. Who would like to do the first watch?
I will.
Do we all
The
have
elves
to
one.
sleep through the long watch, or can we do like similar to elves, where 2 hours of it is downtime, where you're not actively watching, but you're not technically sleeping, right?
So over the course of the 8 hours, you have to sleep for at least 6.
Yeah.
Unless you're an elf. We'll get to elves in a bit. We'll just ignore that corner.
This is the other
Elves.
Those other 2 hours can be spent doing light activity, like reading or cooking or on watch or drilling and stuff like that.
Drinking tea.
Yes, drinking tea.
Guessing if you're reading, it's just your passives that you're relying on to.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're doing one of the other things, you're not actively on watch, so you're relying on your passive perception to notice stuff.
Cool.
There are 8 of you,
So 2 people on watch at any one time.
pretty much. Elves get a long rest in 4 hours, but they have to essentially sleep for 4 hours. They can't really, give or take a few minutes here and there, their stuff can't be interrupted. Otherwise, they get no rest at all. So, Shade is taking a watch, the
I'll
first
jump on
one,
that one as well.
which also
If we
means
do
Shade is going to
take
be up for 4 hours. So,
If we're doing 2 a watch, I'll jump on that.
cool. So we got Shade and Eldoran for the first watch. I would like you guys to make perception checks, please.
Oh, it wasn't a 1!
It's a double
It's
figure.
double one.
It was 2 ones.
It was a double one.
I'm okay with that.
Nathan,
Yeah?
you gave me your purse. However, it's not as low as.
Are you
Yes, I
saying
might
as
have
if
actually done that.
The minimum you can get is your passive perception, or
Nope.
That's 8.
8. Cool.
GG.
Is your pass point kicks in when you're not paying attention?
12.
12. Cool. 12 and 8.
Oh, that's passive.
So, Eldoran and Shade, you set up for the first watch. It is heading. It's early spring, so there isn't. The light disappears relatively quickly towards the end of the day. But you sit, you watch, you listen. You've camped out. You're on the edge of a forest, just to provide some cover from one side. Aside from occasional nighttime activity, nothing occurs. Who is taking second watch?
I'll take
Go for
second
it.
watch as long as there's someone
Yeah.
else that can see in the dark.
I can.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also have Shade.
Oh, yeah. Or if
So-
you decide you can sleep for.
Yeah, you can sleep for the middle bit.
I can't see in the dark.
Feel free to make you can make another perception check. It's a new watch.
Oh, really?
I am saying you can.
you don't have to.
You don't have to if you don't want to, but
Oh my god!
did it get lower?
No, you got a nat 1 both times.
Fucking hell.
That's
You
fine.
should just make one
Sam, play a halfling.
Then you'll roll 2s.
Twos, yeah.
Because I don't
No.
want to be thrown by a dwarf or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another 8,
13.
13,
22.
22. Cool.
So the person who can't see is very sensitive what's going on.
That's fine. I mean, I'm assuming for the most part you're relying more on sound than anything else, because if you start relying on sight, you can't. It's past 60
Yeah.
feet. It's like everyone roll with disadvantage.
I'll have made a campfire before going to sleep as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Again, you have the 2 hours. You really only hear the sounds of the woodland beings doing their nocturnal activities.
So is it like dim light right now because of moonlight or something? Or
Yeah. But it's, for all intents and purposes, it's a quiet watch. Who is doing third watch? You two. Cool. Go ahead and make perception checks for me. Shade will the rest of you go to sleep.
Ooh.
Is it the same thing where everyone who can't see in the dark gets a good roll and
Yes.
everyone else is...
Yeah, it was nearly.
Yeah.
nearly
You might have a
Cool,
torch
so
with you, right? In your
perception
backpack.
is... Okay, 18.
8.
18 and 8. Cool.
Rolled up a 14.
Again, all you really notice is the woodland creatures going about their nighttime activity. The only thing that is different for you guys, and it's very strange, about an hour and a half into your watch, you're looking out and paying attention. You hear rustling from the trees behind you, and you both turn around, and you see Shade walking out of the trees. You didn't notice him leave. And he is beaten and bleeding and very clearly hurt.
I'm going to be going to try and help him find out what happened. So I will throw up dancing lights.
Okay.
What the hell happened to you?
He doesn't say anything. He goes to his bedroll and sleeps.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shade's hardcore.
He seems to be able to. He's walking fine. He's just visibly beaten to crap.
Alright. Look at him like,
Yeah.
deal with this in the morning.
Cool.
And go back to the watch.
I mean, I kind of look at where he's come from and see if there's any other noises if he followed or anything.
No other noises. Interesting thing you do notice. There's only a set of footprints coming back.
I was going to say, I was going to look to see if there's any foot, see where he went, which way he went from the first time.
Nope.
Okay.
There's only footprints coming back.
That's his blood, right?
I think so. Does it actually look like it is his blood, or?
Yeah. He's got like cuts and bruises and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Bring it up tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure it'll bring itself up, really.
Yeah. Surprising, I think it's going to look fine tomorrow.
The rest of your watch is uneventful. Last watch would
Oh, that's me.
Yes, that's good.
and ages
That was better.
High roll.
20.
20,
14.
14,
11.
11. Cool. Fortunately, there is nothing else to occur in this night. It's just the sound of woodland beings.
And a lightly whistling
Do
teapot.
you tell us about what you saw?
I mentioned it when you woke up.
Okay, so I'm going to
That's just 2 hour watch and wait till break.
inspect
I'm gonna-
his body
I
as
am
he's
gonna say-
sleeping.
He's sleeping.
Try and work out, but like see if I can pinpoint bruises and like what's hit him and so on and so forth.
Sure, go ahead and make a medicine check.
You tease.
Considering you're doing this just by
10.
standing over.
Yeah, I'm
and
just. I'm not. I don't want to get close. I don't
you're
want
just
to wake
standing-
him, obviously.
Which he's also in a bedroll, so you essentially just try to use
Look at
his
his
face.
Yes.
Like,
which is also mostly covered. So you've got like nothing to work
Sleep in
with.
a
Yeah.
mask.
He's going to wake
Hardcore
up and see you
motherfucker.
looking over him.
I
No functional.
I am going to say, when he got here, so he's about 4 hours from that time, so people don't wake him up.
Mhm. Yeah.
Pa, what you doing?
Well, he's beaten the fuck. I was just trying to see, how he's been beaten the fuck. Not that there's much on show.
Wait till he wakes up and ask him.
I mean, you didn't get an answer from him. I don't see why I will.
He ignored me and just went straight to sleep.
An elf ignored an elf. Do you really think he's going to talk to a dwarf about this? I'd like him to, don't get me wrong, but I don't see it happening.
Okay, we can try.
Sure. We can certainly try.
Cool. Rest of the night, uneventful. Morning comes. It does towards the end of the watch. The sky does cloud over. By the time morning comes, there is a very, very slight rainfall. Steady but slight rain, as you guys come to. There's a bit of a chill to the air. It is a crisp spring morning, and the sky is grey and overcast. But you are awake. And you have breakfast to eat, your rations to consume, and the rest of your day the rest of your journey to go. Tea to drink. Anyone want to do anything over breakfast?
Eat.
Before breakfast, during breakfast, after breakfast.
He's got to sleep an hour longer than everyone else, so we're all eating while he's still sleeping. I think.
With the amount of time he was awake, he is not bothered. He's fine.
Okay.
Because of reasons and things.
So what does he look like as we're eating breakfast?
I mean, he's clearly...
He's been in a fight.
He's been in a fight, but it's
Did
not...
he have a fist fight or did he have a knife fight?
That's what I was trying to
Can't tell in the mornings.
Was it bludgeoning or piercing? Yeah.
A lot of the cuts and bruises and whatnot have cleared up, as they are wont to do in D&D with long rests.
Hey, Shade, you alright?
Yeah, who kicked your ass?
You
Well-
came wandering into camp this morning at about... it's just about halfway through mine and his watch.
You kind of stumbled across us.
Well, look at your clothes, they've been ripped.
You have bad dreams? Walk in your sleep?
Now that sounds better.
Was it a full moon?
No.
Just checking.
No, it wasn't.
Definitely a
It
weird
was...
What did you dream?
Fucking inside check.
Did you dream you fell on a wall or something?
I'm not going to inside check. Oh no, I don't believe him.
Yeah, I know. I don't believe.
Yeah, it was the moon technically would have been a waxen gibbous.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I have a working calendar with moon cycles on it and everything. It's so exciting.
For everyone who doesn't want to use Google, how
It's
This is where you need a Jaffa cake.
rather than a crescent, it's the other 3/4.
oh okay.
This is where I need a Jaffa cake. 'Cause I'm this much.
Full moon.
Alright. Who was making insight checks and what did you roll?
9.
9,
13.
13. And you were inciting
20.
which statement?
Basically, him saying that he doesn't really know. He seems
Yeah,
to be
I don't remember.
Okay.
seeing if he's
if
like
he was
trying to
bullshitting or
just
genuinely
actually
remember.
not
Yeah.
divulge information, or whether he actually believes what he's saying.
Okay. And you got a
21.
21. Can you just go ahead and make a charisma save for me, please?
Mine.
No.
Me?
Shade.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Now
a
you
low
roll the
number.
roll.
A 3.
I roll
Okay.
the dice. Oh wait, no, wait. Christmas save.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool, I have 1 in total.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
He.
Oh, actually, I think it might be a 3. Because you're near me.
It's cool, I got you, bro.
I got this.
Good to know.
I know you're lying, but,
don't
you
have
know.
negative Christmas save. Good.
Amazing.
Does that save apply even if you're trying to interrogate him? Like you're helping him out?
It's not a
tell me
turn
what
on,
you
turn
know.
off ability.
Yeah, he's an ally, therefore.
Yeah.
He has to like stand X amount of feet away and shout.
Alright, I'm just gonna go stand 10 feet this way and interrogate you from over here.
Basically, from where he is, yeah, just over there a little bit.
Yeah, just in the tree.
He doesn't get at all what happened. He doesn't understand.
Has this happened before that you've woken up looking...
Like shit.
Yes.
No.
He had a bad dream and walked in his sleep. Happens to small kids. Happens to
None of us
him
noticed
too,
him
I
leave,
suppose.
though. Did anyone else see him leave?
Yeah, who was on before us?
Shade.
Jade was.
Yeah.
No, he was one of them 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can we both
you-
like take a look at each other and be like,
You were on the watch with him.
The beginning. Yeah.
Was he there when we went to sleep?
Yep.
Like when we went on to watch,
Yep.
was he still there?
Yep.
Shade went to sleep when we went to sleep. Well,
Mhm.
whatever elves do when they sleep.
We couldn't find any tracks to show he'd left either though.
Well, you couldn't. I couldn't see a thing.
No,
I had dancing lights on.
we all know Shade's rather sneaky when it
It
comes
used
to
to
I'm
be.
not going to try and track
Did
him.
Shade leave
before
tracks
I-
coming back?
Yes.
Championship? Want to go on that? You know, tracks and things.
oh, I can show you where he is right now if I'm trying to find where Shade is.
Oh God, thanks. I'll go over to the tree line and see if there's a
Fuck
second
know
set
where
of
he came
footprints.
I assume you've just got like sarcastic smile everywhere.
Well, we don't need a second step, we just need the first step backwards.
That's what I mean.
Why does it matter? We're not here to find shade.
We have one going this way, so I'm going to look for one going that way, and probably
Yeah.
find nothing.
Yeah, but
There is no other set
Are
of
there at
tracks.
least? Did he leave little spots of blood as he came back?
No.
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 if he came back
Right.
looking like that, then what's
Should
the
we
other
follow
guy
the
look
tracks
like?
back
Is what I
to see
wanted.
where he came from?
Or you could just tell us. But you don't know either.
He doesn't know.
How many days away from the first?
Darek, what the hell is with this dirty brown water you keep serving us?
I don't make any of you any. I'll make it just for myself.
Isn't that-
How did you get a hold of his tea? He's very protective over that.
What's on the fire?
Did you drink my tea?
I think he just did.
I'd certainly tried to.
He then
Can't you
spat it
make
all
this?
over the fire.
Can't you make this any more palatable?
Yeah, if you want to put out the fire, do it properly.
What a waste of good spices.
Were we not supposed to drink that?
I honestly didn't want to ask.
I did drink all of it. Like, there's probably still some there. You
I
don't
know
just,
you spat
you're
it
not
out
just
again.
like chug the whole.
I thought he was cleaning the
Shotgun
inside of
tea.
that pot. How many days is it until like the first point that Elfsmith gets to town?
You're expected to arrive on the next day, like halfway through, which is the time he's supposed to. You're supposed to be aiming to arrive at the same time.
Should we get leaving?
I think we should.
I mean, if we don't want to investigate this further, then by all
We want to
means.
follow his tracks for a little while to see if we can find out where he came from.
I think we should stick to the mission. He's alive, he's with us. Let's move on and not camp here again.
Okay, and I'm going to go and prepare the cart for.
Alright.
Cool.
I'll go with the group decision where the city.
Yes.
Words!
I thought elves could speak.
Yes, but I'm not speaking any language.
At that point, I'll turn to you in Dwarfish and you go, "Oh, what a shame that is."
I can understand that as well.
Shit. Bollocks.
Mistakes have been made.
I was saying, I heard that. Dwarfish.
I'll continue in Dwarfish. Oh, good for you. Just continue setting up the cart.
Alright, so you guys, you get yourself ready, get yourself up on the cart or on a horse.
Who's claiming crossbow? You don't remember that from the last mission?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've got a crossbow.
Who's crossbow?
It doesn't really matter. Some of you are on a horse, 2 of you are on a horse, the rest of you are driving a wagon or in the back of a wagon, and there's one horse tied to the back of the wagon, so it's led by the wagon.
Couldn't three people should be riding horses.
Or that.
If you want to, but
Who wants to ride a horse? Oh yeah,
My
no,
character
sure,
probably
yeah.
can. Yeah, my
you can all
character-
ride a horse. You just whether or not you can keep control of it is a different matter.
Yes. What is the save for horse riding?
Probably depends on the horse, right?
Yeah.
There's Boris.
It's also technically a land vehicle.
Yeah.
Boris was a good mule.
Or yeah, Boris wasn't a horse.
A mule.
God, I'll borrow.
Moving forward,
Yes.
you guys saddle up and head off. Continue on your way towards Grassbury. I will point out one of the main reasons for why there's a large amount of bandit activity and whatnot is roads aren't a thing that have been built yet. You are constantly travelling across wilderness to get from place to place.
That's why I wanted
I think
a
there were
horse.
roads, but most of them were destroyed or damaged. So there's bits of
Yeah,
road,
the roads that existed were the elven roads, and for all intents and purposes, they're gone.
I wouldn't have gone to Jofriem anyway.
Yes, then it wouldn't have gone to Jofriem because Jofriem was a new town, a new city. So currently, settlements are focusing on getting themselves sorted. Trade routes are sort of being established, but there are no roads currently.
How long ago was it that the war entered again?
8 years.
8 years ago.
I think 8 years.
Yeah.
Between 3 and 8.
It's not
No, sorry, no, I got that wrong. No, I totaled those wrong. Just shy of 5 years.
Yeah.
But it's because Jofriem has existed for 3 years.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So it was between 3 and 8.
Okay, so
Yeah.
5 years ago.
It was
Yeah.
in fact 8 minus 3.
just shy of 5 years ago. You're talking like you're like 2 or 3 weeks away from the anniversary of the end of the war. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any sort of celebration or public event that happens to celebrate the end of the war or anything like that? Or the peace accords or anything?
Jofriem has a celebration. Other towns, not sure.
Your mileage may vary, sure.
Yeah. Like some people might just gloss over it entirely. But Jofriem has a proper day where no one works, everyone just celebrates and drinks for however long.
Do you have like a hood, or are you wearing any like hats or anything to like shield yourself at all? Are you planning to wear a hood, a la Shade over there? You might not be so welcome in a town half dwarves.
So fair point. I may put on a cloak with a hood.
I say show your heritage.
Hey, if people could
Show
show
the
shit,
world
we'll
welcome
give
the
them
Errant
shit.
Guard.
But when we enter the town, maybe we should at least try to go through a little bit less hostile the first time.
It might not be a terrible idea to be unnoticed entering.
Although after we've helped out a few people, maybe then reveal, hey, they were elves all along.
That seems like a betrayal of trust to me.
Yeah.
The war's over, why does it matter?
Yeah. It doesn't matter, just be who you are. If they throw a bitch fit, then
Been
that's their
half a
problem.
decade. As far as the elves consider it, it's probably still going.
Oh, it feels like yesterday to me, don't worry.
And me.
I'm just saying, we probably don't want to go looking for trouble whilst we're looking for trouble.
You mean find the right trouble? I agree.
Well, it's up to you.
I'll try to make them slide us first to begin with, so we'll wear a hood or a bandana, one or the other.
I mean,
Yeah,
you'll have a travelling cloak for all intents and purposes that you can throw a hood up over. Yeah. To be fair, you're probably,
it's probably
already
right
wearing
there
it because
anyway.
it is
Yeah, it's
raining. But yeah,
My character quite likes the rain.
that's fair. Yeah. Cool. So you guys journey on for a couple of hours, heading towards sort of midday. And the scenery around you starts to change. It starts moving from just mostly open grasslands, some hills and fields and whatnot, to clearly worked fields with set boundaries. Some of them have got animals in them. You're walking past like essentially pastures with like sheep or cows or whatever.
Do we pass any signs of band activity, so damaged homesteads or...
Not as of yet.
People?
There are in some of the fields, particularly the plant fields. There are people working the land, as it were.
Did we pass anyone while travelling? Like,
Not specifically,
today?
but Grassbury as a town is it's centralised around a large hill, but the actual farms go quite far out from it. So you're the edge of Grassbury, but it's not really what anyone refers to as
What's the
Grassbury.
scenery around the area other than the fields? Is it wooded? Is it all grassland?
For the most part, it's mostly grassland. Yeah, it's a lot of grassland. There's the odd tree here and there, but it's
But it does mean we can see quite far because there's not
Yeah.
the slight rain, but it does mean we can still see.
yeah, you can
That
see
was
yeah.
what it was asking.
Yeah, you can still see. As you carry on, you pass a few more farms, and you start making your way forward. You see sort of on your path ahead, clearly patrolling like a set area. You see a pair of bipedal figures, one a lot smaller than the other. And as you get closer, you can see that there is a dwarf and a human, both dressed in chainmail with a spear each and a shield, who are just sort of patrolling area. They look like standard town guards.
I'll trot up ahead of the wagon and
Mhm.
hail. Yeah, drink before you need to talk.
Turns up, becomes Archer apparently.
That's no way to treat a lord. Off with his head.
Yeah. As you start heading over, they both sort of turn to look at you, look up at the others. The dwarf goes, "Aye."
We're looking for some respite for the evening. Can you suggest some?
Aye. Keep going that way.
Very good, thank you.
Heavenly Hawk.
Many thanks. Keep going.
Sure. You head on past them, and as you travel forward, you start seeing through the mist of the rain the outside of a town appearing. No walls, it's not a walled town, but there's a large collection of buildings. You can see from where you're coming from, you're heading towards, there's a large hill at the other side of town. You can see some buildings go to past the edge of the hill, but not many. Most of it is this side. And up on the crest of the hill is a very large stone fortress.
How big a hill are we talking?
It's not massive. It goes up maybe like 60, 70 feet. But it is flat topped. And it is mostly stone as opposed to like grass. And you can see a path that's sort of been carved into it, winding up to the fortress gate. Just winding up, you can't see it that distance right now. As you make your way,
What architectural style is it? Human, elven, dwarf?
dwarvish.
Dwarvish. So dwarvish.
The fortress is dwarvish. The other buildings, a mixture of dwarvish and human.
Okay.
With some of them have got elven influence. That is explicitly on the human dwellings, the human crafting. But you do notice the vast majority of houses inside the actual town are dwarvish in nature. But think about the homesteads that you saw on your way in, most of those were human in nature.
Human farmers, dwarven miners.
Essentially.
What I thought when he first described the town.
It's a fairly well set up thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
As a group, they work quite well together doing that.
Yeah. They're pretty well covered.
How much of the town looks like it might have been rebuilt or repaired?
None of it actually. It all looks pretty. There might have been some of the dwarven things have maybe taken some damage.
But nothing significant, nothing.
No.
No grand restorations anywhere.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all. It looks like this was a town that is either
relatively unscathed.
yes, yeah,
To the wall.
yeah. You make your way into town, and even from a distance, it becomes quite clear which place the Heavenly Hawk is, because excluding the fortress, it is the second largest building in the town. And as you make your way towards it, it is built to look like a hawk in flight.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
That's one hell of a design choice for a building. How on earth do they keep it up without it falling down on itself?
I didn't need to ask for directions.
Yeah. And it is the entrance to it is through the open beak of the hawk.
Do you get to stay in the wings?
Yeah. You literally
Oh!
stay, yeah, you literally stay in the wings.
I wonder what's
The
in the eyes.
wings are indeed the wings of the tavern.
And what manager's office is in between the eyeballs?
So what, the latrine is the tail at the end?
Oddly enough, I think that's where deliveries go in.
Oh.
Well, that's deliveries out.
Oh, they have advanced sewer systems.
But yeah. So it's a very unique building. as far as designs go. But you guys make your way inside, or I suppose maybe a couple of you make your way in. Who's going to go? Because there is a stables you can put your horses and wagons at.
Well, I'm going to the stables.
I
I'll
will.
I'll go in.
help him do the stable.
That's
I'll
cool.
dismount and hand off the reins to probably you.
Yeah.
And you'll just like have them at the side. Yeah.
As I'm driving the wagon, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Totally.
So, who's going stables? Who's going in?
I'll go in.
In.
1, 2, 3 in. Anyone else in?
Stables!
I guess it goes to the end.
You're in. Cool.
Stables.
I'll go in then. 3 stables.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
3
that's
stables
fine.
in,
So
yeah.
the rest of you step in. Bear with. As you step in, the bar is immediately to your left and bends around. You can see a large open common room with various doors going out, which either they lead to the bedrooms or they lead to other smaller private common rooms. Over at the opposite side of the bar is a fireplace. Lit. The inside is pretty warm. There is. It's got a very. It's got the carving on the fireplace is. I should have looked up the wording for this, but you get those curves, the circle things.
Yep.
Yeah. And then perched across the top of them is what looks to be a carved dragon. A very small, or dragon or drake, just sort of across the top. Weirdly enough, there also seems to be clothing just sort of walking around. There's not many people in here at this time. There are a couple of dwarves who are having a drink at the back. Not next to the fireplace, they're sort of tucked around the corner. And you can see that the clothing is carrying trays to the table and taking the empty glasses and taking it back.
Someone
the
got
bar.
rich doing animate objects in the face.
Unseen servant.
It could be unseen servant.
It does look like it's the clothing is fit around a bipedal form.
Lots of
As you're taking this in, the other thing that you will all notice is the back of the bar, like the behind the bar, the floor is higher than on the other side, which becomes apparent when the halfling owner, about 3'3", dark black hair, wearing a cloak, just a dark grey cloak. As you step in, looks across to you because he is not below you at the moment because the floor is higher. Ah, welcome. You're new. Welcome to the Heavenly Orc. I'm Milo, the owner.
You alright? Seen any elves?
No,
No.
but if there's an elf in town, he'll come here. I've got the only place you can stay if you're not from town.
No, well, we came to the right place.
Yes.
I'm just gonna toss my hood back. What is the time?
It's about 2 o'clock.
Oh, good. I wasn't about to suggest morning ale.
No. He does say.
Maybe
I heard,
Yeah, that's all
It's a
right.
lunchtime ale.
yeah. I heard. I heard some horses. Is there some more?
Yes. 3 more of us.
Yeah. 2 more. Okay. And they've just taken
round
around the stables. Perfect. And you're staying here, I assume. You're in town for sort of business,
Yeah.
Sort of.
adventure, fun, pleasure.
All.
Yeah, you had any trouble around these parts?
There's been. Personally, I'm good, but there have been people who've said things. We normally fill up in the evening. I'm sure if you sit around, you'll hear some stuff. Tell you what. And he clicked his fingers, and 2 of the unseen servants move over to where there's one table by the fireplace, but you're a big group. They push 2 tables together, and he goes, "Look like you've travelled a long way. Go sit over there. I'll do you a trade. you tell me a bit about yourselves and why you're here. First round's free.
That sounds excellent.
Can't argue with that.
I go and
I
sit
agree.
down.
Yeah.
So at what point do the stable people show up?
Not very long. You said you just go over there. They get the horses get taken care of by a couple of stable boys.
Cool.
So as I walk in,
Sorry, they don't get taken by stable boys. They get taken care of by also walking suits of clothing.
okay, that influences what I'm going to say. 'Cause as soon as I walk in, I find you and go, "Is this you? Are you playing silly buggers already?"
Why does everyone assume it's me?
Or you? It could be either or.
I already asked. But apparently not.
Okay then.
They seem
Weird.
idiots.
Oh,
Point to the bar.
Hail.
So yeah, he from where he is shouts across, "What are you guys drinking? I've got ale, I've got wine, I've got spirits.
You got a dwarven ale?
Yeah.
Great.
Obviously I've got dwarven ale. I don't have anything but dwarven ale.
That's the correct choice. What kind of spirits you got?
What do you want? I mean, I'm giving. Oh, you weren't here. Yes. First round. I'm Milo. First round's free. You guys. I just want a bit of information about yourselves. Obviously, I'm not giving you top shelf stuff,
That's exactly.
but I'm not going to give you the bottom shelf either.
That sounds like a
Somewhere
wonderful trade.
in the middle.
Some sort of decent whiskey then.
I'll get you some whiskey. Anyone else for a whiskey? Anyone else for ales?
Do you have anything less strong?
Don't all shout out at once.
Do you have any ciders?
We can do cider. Yep. Ciders.
I'll have a cider.
Cider.
What time,
Wine.
Fine.
what time of day did you say it was again?
2 o'clock.
So, I'm strictly forbidden from drinking before 3 o'clock through the religion. But I'll take a wine and I'll wait an hour.
That's sure.
Water.
Just sounded
You sure? It's free.
You know they'll have their own tea, right?
Yeah, just some hot water, thanks.
Okay. He starts pouring.
Is he going back to the bar?
Yeah, he shouted that out
Oh, right.
across the bar, which the two dwarves drinking are sort of like, what?
That entire exchange.
And then-
across the bar.
Look to the next to you and go, yeah. and go back to drinking.
I'll just like give them a little smile. They do.
Yeah, he starts pouring drinks.
Whilst he's doing that, Andrew, I think that story alone might be worth the drinks. You're ordering hot water alone.
Yeah, he pours drinks. He passes it off to some of the unseen servants, which come over and deposit drinks in front of people. You two get your hot water and water, but you also get a halfling whiskey, like that he brewed himself, and you get an elven wine.
What is that?
Oh, this is halfling whiskey.
Is it in a
you
halfling
mind?
appropriate sized glass?
It is, yeah. There's not much of it.
It's like a thimble.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Then again, dwarf. It's
There's
not
not
that
much of
when
it, but
they
there's
like,
quite
they
a
probably
kick to
drink
that.
more.
He's also poured himself just a pint of ale. Sat himself down.
That's what I'm saying, kind of whiskey, I actually.
Pint of whiskey.
Just
I don't need
just
to
a
see tomorrow.
bottle. I don't care anymore.
As he comes and sits down, one of the other doors opens, and you hear like some pots and
Hands.
crockery and stuff. Yeah, clacking and cooking. And you definitely get a waft of food, and you see through there briefly two halfling girls and a halfling woman who seem to be cooking, and then an unseen servant comes out over to the dwarfs carrying 2 plates of chicken. And placing those down before they just sort of drift off. They have this weird thing when they're serving. Yeah, when they're serving, they move. Once they finish serving, they literally just sort of go to the edges of the room, which you noticed them because they were serving at the time you walked in. But as you look around now, like there are loads. There's a good like 30 just floating bits of flesh.
I'm imagining just like a floating t-shirt and then a floating pair of trousers, and
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it. Yeah. That is what you've got. Yeah.
All I
in
can
different
imagine
colours.
is like the guy's really concentrating to do this. Someone's going to start a bar fight, slap him, and they all just drop. Just piles of clothes at the edge of the room everywhere.
Interestingly, he doesn't seem to be focusing on anything at all.
Yeah, I can't remember if Unseen Servant's a concentration thing.
It is not.
Yeah.
If people want to, let's say make Arcana checks. All of you can make an Arcana check on Unseen Servant.
Thank you for catching that, Darren. I'll take that number.
Yeah, that's right.
That didn't go anywhere either.
11.
Roll. I'll bother 5.
20.
Now you
I got a 5. But I didn't know I got a 5.
Okay. Who got at least a 16? Cool. So you two know what Unseen Servant is. Normally, Unseen Servant is you can cast it once and you have one servant. This guy's got 30 of them. He's done something funky. He's played with the spell a bit and has developed a new version of Unseen Servant, which apparently he's not passed on to anyone and he uses specifically as waiters. Yeah.
Well, he's
have to
just
pay
got,
him.
got a spell book and he's just scribbled a address in at the end. It's like, new spell.
Oh, he's mixed it with simulacrum is what he's done.
They're human sized though, right?
Yeah, human sized, yeah. Yeah. You get the sense the reason he's put clothing on them is so people can see they're there.
Yes.
That's literally
yes.
the only reason. You also, looking around, you get the sense that maybe there's maybe some like ale stains and wine stains across through the wood. You get like maybe initially he didn't, and they end up with a fair few spillings as people walked into the Unseen Servants.
Because they are unseen.
Yeah, weirdly enough. Cool. So he comes down and joins you. Takes a swig of his ale. So, I've done my part.
You have. You know, I've been to a fair few taverns in my time, but this one is definitely the most interesting and unique I've ever been to.
It's the selling point.
Yeah.
I can't say I've
Incredible.
drunk inside an animal before. Something
haven't
new
lived
for the
with one.
books.
I've drunken out of an animal.
Yes.
That's not the same.
No. That was the point.
Doesn't
What
taste
is
the
what's
same.
your name, Milo?
Well, we're a sort of out of the way sort of town. I'm just curious for your reason. You're all decked out to shit, if I do say so myself.
Eloquently put. Yes.
It's great when it's
I mean, I would have taken like my kit from the cart and my shield and just plonked it down
Oh,
next
yeah.
to the table so there's all
Yeah,
that
I don't
there.
think anyone's left anything in the car.
I have no access.
Yeah.
That's my whole item list.
Yeah. So, I'm just curious as to who you are, why you're here, what you're doing.
Well, we're a travelling adventuring party.
That makes sense.
We were told that there might be some problems in this town, so we could have a look.
Do you have a name?
We're the Errant Guard. We're fairly new, so we're hoping to make a name for ourselves.
Come from Jofriem, I assume.
No, that's where we've started so far.
Very cool. Someday I'll go.
It's a very
It's very
clean
nice.
city.
You
It's
should.
very large.
Well, I mean, if I go, business shuts, and it's
Yeah.
at some point.
I mean, this is a
maybe.
bird. Can it not take off?
Haven't got that skilled yet.
A flying bar. Now that sounds amazing.
Oh, well, you really are taking it to another level.
Well, no, at this rate, they could carry the building, gesturing to many pairs of clothes.
Oh,
Does bring a new mean to where it's 3 sheets of the wind.
if you stay here for the day, when the mines are finished with, I normally end up with a fair few people in here. Many of them prefer going to the other bars. They're dwarven, but I get some people. Some of them like to see if there's any newcomers, so I'm sure you'll get some information
Is it
later.
mainly miners, or do you get some of the farming folk out there?
Some of the farming folk, most of them brew their own though. They very
can
rarely
understand
travel
that.
into town to go back out
As
again.
someone who dabbles in moonshine himself, I can understand that one.
What sort of thing are they mining here?
Iron mostly, I think. They find all sorts of things. If you want to know, you'd have to go up to the fortress and talk to the Grimforge family.
Are they the lords of this area?
Yes, they're the ones in charge.
Can I do a history check on them?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
That's spam like a bitch. 16.
16. Yeah, the Grimforged family does mean something. During the war, a vast majority of the dwarven weapon and armory was provided by the Grimforges.
Would most of us have heard that name?
I might have.
You might have as well,
Dwarves
yeah.
Probably would have. Don't know about others.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't have.
Oh, that name rings a bell. Where do I know that name from? Where do I know that name from?
Suppliers of the Dwarven army.
That's right, because my shit looked different.
Eldeth Grimforge is the dwarf in charge. If you wish to talk to her, I do think she's looking for help actually, but wait until the miners get out. They will have more information than I do. I serve the beer.
And we have no
Well, I will leave you to your drinks,
Is it easy to get an audience with them?
more or less. They're pretty open. Especially if they are looking for help, there's every reason for them to accept audiences.
Saying no to people trying to talk to you when you're looking for help is
Counterproductive.
would be rather
Rather
counterproductive.
Yes.
Jigs.
But yes, so I'll leave you to your drinks and
Just before you go, Milo, allow me to compliment you on your wonderful tavern, your arcane prowess with these servants, and your beautiful family.
he stands up on the chair and bows.
May I add 2 more things? He says, and then
Your
throws a
most
blank.
exceptional hospitality.
1 more thing at least. That halfling whiskey. That's very interesting. Now I know halflings like to keep their secrets, but could you tell me something about it at least?
It's made by a halfling.
You know, that qualifies. It's good though. It's good whiskey.
He had you there.
He did. Another something else was.
Yeah.
He jumps down and goes behind the bar, leaves you guys to your drinks, which you can get more if you wish, or you just enjoy that. You do notice over time the dwarves in the corner get more and more ruckus and start hitting they start going past the "lol, it's funny" to "oh, they're just being douchebags now." At which point, Milo
Do you need some bouncers?
Rich.
says, no, he says,
I'm probably looking quite hopeful. Just like,
Vitric, would you mind? And the drake on the mantelpiece stands up, spreads its wings,
Holy shit.
and flies over to them. Lands on the table in front of them, and you watch it breathe out this cloud of glittering gas. And then the
Oh,
two
God.
dwarves,
Does it? Oh god, is this a certain kind of gas?
the two dwarves stop their loud behaviour and just sort of both just sit down, meek.
Okay, good. They didn't grow anything.
And then you just about pick up the drake, very quietly say, "Leave," and they both just get up and walk out.
This place gets more interesting by
And
the
then
moment.
it flies wings. It sprouts its wings again and flies back over to the mantelpiece, puts it down to the position, looks over you and goes, "It's warm."
Imagine it is. I'm talking to a fireplace.
It's like a cat with wings.
I've always said dragons are cats.
Derek's got his journal out and he's writing furiously.
we go visit the lords then.
Is it an actual drake or
Or
is
do we
it?
want
Yeah,
the
it's an
way
actual
for
drake.
Oh, I was wondering if it was just
Um,
animated
They're the ones
carving.
living for help.
If,
Might as well go
no,
talk
it's
to them.
legitimate. It's flesh. As you look closely, you can now see it's flesh. It's just skin color is perfectly matched to the wood it was sleeping on,
Okay.
probably intentionally.
Yeah.
you get the sense it's more the wood was matched to the drake
Yeah.
rather than the drake was matched to the wood.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do that way around.
So
Yeah.
I'll go over
Drake's
to
the wrong
Milo.
car, send it back.
I'll go over to Milo and go, did you make that? Or did what the hell is that?
Oh, that's Vitric. We have a good relationship.
I can see that.
He's an alehouse drake. Very useful when people get drunk.
Yeah, I just saw.
They can be a bit mischievous though, so you're right next to him. Just be aware.
So if I go to pet him, is he going to try and do anything?
Yeah, he'll probably enjoy that. Cool. He sort of just nudges into it, but just
You're
stays
right.
with his eyes shut.
They are cats!
Hey Milo, how long we got to wait for these miners to turn up?
Couple of hours.
Ugh.
Shall we go and see if the
Well,
Grimforge
he
family has...
He did say we should wait until they're kicked out to go and see them.
Is it?
No, he said we should wait to talk to the miners for other things.
He did say the miners, but there is also the Grimforge do occasionally do work in the mines themselves.
I mean, it wouldn't do any harm going and seeing them.
Do
We've
you
got
know
a couple of
dwarves
hours to
mine?
spare.
All dwarves.
All the dwarves
mine.
mine, especially in this town.
I go over to my backpack and pull out a very small pickaxe.
So you wait at least another. I'm assuming you guys wait at least an hour so Shamshir can hit 3 o'clock and have his drink.
Yeah.
20 minutes at this point, isn't it?
Well,
wait
yeah.
I
around.
mean, I'm going to get out one of my books and start reading.
Cool.
You can read.
After
Yes.
about
Barbarian
half
who
an
can
hour,
read.
as I finish my drink, and
Very
he
well,
says
I
I
can
can
read
read
intelligence.
Okay.
I'm going to drink the wine as well.
Cool. Pretty good. Oh,
I
wine.
think before we
Quite
go,
nice.
if I might, gentlemen, I think before we go and see the Grimforge, I think we should make sure that Shade's okay.
Looks fine.
Yes, but given what happened last night, we don't know what's going to.
You could have serious brain damage.
I think I can probably fix that.
Have none of you seriously never heard of somebody walking in their sleep? Why are you making such a big deal over this?
Yes, I have, but they don't walk into the woods and then come back like they've been in a fist fight.
That's exactly what happens when you walk through a bush.
Not with those bruises.
Actually, in real life, yeah, I can kind of.
He can attest to
that.
I can attest to
I was
that
drunk.
personally.
And I came back falling in from a bush.
Yeah,
scratches down.
he did look like he'd
It
been in a
happens.
fight, but it was a fight in a bush that he lost.
A bush doesn't give you a black eye. Look at that.
No, I actually think you got a black eye.
Yes,
Why
in
do
real
drunk
life,
people
if you
defy
sleepwalk
logic?
into a tree, it
Because they
hurts.
also
We know
defy
this.
physics. That was the problem.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Drunk, I get beer.
at least one person then. That's logical.
Shade, did you sneak off in the middle of the night to try and kill us all?
Why would
Or
I do
fight an
that?
owlbear.
Why,
Well, he did a very bad job of
if
that.
he wanted to
Your
kill
friend.
us, why would he leave and then come back covered?
Exactly, so if he says he's fine, and I think we should trust him on it.
Unless you have
If
something.
It happens again, though, I feel we will need to investigate a little more, just because.
Yes, we should tie him down.
Someone will sit on him all night. Maybe the
Never done that
dwarves.
before, Shade.
Yes, in all my armour, I'll do that.
Could strap a halfling to his back.
I'm not sure that would be that much
Why
of
do you
a
not
I
waste.
don't think he'll agree to
More
it.
worried
No,
about
just
this?
so then the halfling will know what's
Thank
happening.
you, yeah.
Why do you not seem more worried about this?
Yes, okay.
You sit there, don't fall asleep.
It's never happened before. It was mysterious. You never want to explore what happened.
It's weird.
How illuminating.
What state is his dagger in?
Daggers are fine,
Yeah, dagger's fine.
and
They're
so
not
is every
unclean or
other
anything
weapon
else.
that I have, basically.
Yeah, everything is fine.
It's just his face, isn't it?
Yeah, it was
Well, we can
just
see
his
it.
body that was injured.
So, that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, well, you can see
All
it.
I've got to go on
Yeah.
is a
Literally
nose.
just
It's
see
not
that.
helpful.
In fact, of interest, his fists didn't have like dried blood on them. His staff didn't have blood or any sort of markings on it. It was just him.
Like he just headbutted.
It looks like he had a fight with a bush and
The bush
might
won.
have won.
It's funny how much to do away.
Very well then.
Milo, are the townsfolk likely to kick off if my two friends take their hoods down?
Oh no, that'll be fine. It's just the Grimforgers and the dwarves were already here, and then they were doing the mining and the smelting and the forging and the whatnot. But they were trading their stuff with other people in order to get the food they needed. And then once the war ended, they had a lack of trade. And then the humans came and said, the farmland around here is really good, so we'll do you a trade. we'll farm and we'll give you food, and you can give us the tools, and then we all benefit together.
Bread for hoes. Get it.
So they've got nothing particular. It was just business for them. They're called the Grim Forge family because they're grim and they forge stuff. But they're business people. They do the business more than anything.
They do the business.
It's nice to see some genuine unity. We've been through some places where folks aren't so accepting.
It's a work in progress. I like to think I helped. I probably didn't, but I like to think I did.
I take my hood then.
You guys polish whatever drinks you have off and talk and whatnot, and we will take a quick break. And that will be the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part